They're not supposed to be the story. They're not supposed to hit the ice. At least not like this. But in the NHL, even the guys with the whistles can go from invisible to headline news in the blink of an eye. They're not fighting for glory. They're just trying to keep order in the world's fastest, most violent sport. But every once in a while, the chaos catches up to them. And when it does, the world stops and stares. This is the hidden reality. Referees get hurt too, sometimes brutally. And when it happens, there's no time for second thoughts. These are the most jaw-dropping, game-halting, and downright brutal referee injuries from the 2024 to 2025 NHL season. Trust me, you won't believe some of these made it on live TV. Number 8. Steve Kozari knocked out cold. Penguins vs. Lightning, April 6, 2024. Some officials blend into the background. Steve Kozari never had that luxury. He's been wearing the stripes for over a decade, skating with superstars, dodging pucks, fists, and flying sticks every night. He's the kind of ref who looks like nothing phases him. But on April 6, 2024, none of that mattered. It was Pittsburgh versus Tampa Bay, a hard-fought, high-octane battle in the thick of the playoff race. Kozari was in his usual spot, tracking the puck like a hawk. The play suddenly reversed. Tampa's Hayden Fleury chasing a puck near center ice accidentally clipped Kozari's legs. It wasn't a dirty play, just brutal, blind bad luck. The collision looked innocent at first, but Kozari never saw it coming. He went down hard, and I mean hard. His head snapped backward and hit the ice with a sickening thud that everyone in the building heard. Suddenly, all that playoff energy vanished. The crowd went silent. Players dropped to one knee. Kozari wasn't moving. For a full minute, nobody breathed. Even on TV, you could see the concern on everyone's face. The medics, the coaches, even the goalies. Nobody wanted to see a ref go down like that. They stretchered him off the ice, neck braced, surrounded by teammates and rivals alike. It was the kind of scene you don't forget and a reminder that even the best, even the most prepared, can get caught in the chaos. But Kozari wasn't the only one to pay the price that season. Number 7. Mitch Dunning stretchered off. Flyers vs. Avalanche, November 18th, 2024. If you think referees can avoid the carnage, think again. Mitch Dunning, a ref known for always being in the right spot with the kind of calm confidence every coach wants, was having a standard night in Philadelphia until one play changed everything. Early in the second period, Avalanche defenseman Josh Manson was charging after a loose puck along the boards. Dunning was keeping up with the play, eyes locked on the puck, trusting his instincts. But Manson never saw him, and neither did Dunning until it was too late. The collision was violent, awkward, and instant. Dunning's head and neck took the brunt of the impact. He dropped straight to the ice, face first, and didn't move. Instantly, the atmosphere in the Wells Fargo Center shifted from rowdy to dead silent. Every single person in that building, players, coaches, fans, knew it was bad. Paramedics were on the ice in seconds. Teammates stood by, visibly shaken. Dunning was stretchered off, barely conscious but moving his limbs. Reports later confirmed he was alert in the hospital. An enormous relief, but nobody who saw it will forget that moment when the game stopped cold. That's the kind of incident that stays with you, the kind that makes even the toughest NHL veterans think twice. But the pain train wasn't stopping there. Number 6. Brian Panchich sent flying into the boards. Wild vs. Golden Knights, April 21st, 2025. The playoffs are a battlefield, and sometimes even the linesmen get caught in the crossfire. Brian Panchich is a guy who knows the risks. He's broken up more scrums and dodged more flying elbows than most fans will ever notice. But nothing prepares you for the moment when you become the target. It was Game 1 of the Wild vs. Golden Knights playoff series. Minnesota's Brett Howden was chasing the puck along the boards when his skate clipped Panchich's. The linesman flew face first into the glass, ricocheting off the boards like a rag doll. He tried to shake it off, but it was obvious. He was hurting. The trainers helped him off the ice, and for the rest of that high-stakes playoff game, someone else had to fill his spot. You could see the worry in the eyes of every official, because it could have been any one of them. Panchich would later be diagnosed with a concussion and miss the rest of the series. For the Wild and the Golden Knights, the game continued, but for the guys in stripes, it was a gut check, a reminder that their job comes with just as much risk as the players. Still think the officials have it easy? Think again. Number 5. Scott Cherrey takes a puck to the head. Panthers vs. Lightning, April 23, 2025. Some injuries are born out of chaos, others out of sheer bad luck. Scott Cherrey's moment came so fast you could have missed it, if not for the blood on the ice. Panthers vs. Lightning, first round of the playoffs. The puck ricochets off a skate, angles upward, and catches Cherrey flush on the side of his head. His helmet absorbs most of the blow, but not enough. He staggers, clearly rattled, but he waves off the trainers. He's staying in. Slow motion replay shows the full force of the impact. A moment's inattention, and suddenly you're bleeding for a game you can't even play. Cherrey would finish the period before finally leaving for stitches. His return the next game made headlines, but for most fans, it was a blink and you'll miss it reminder. Sometimes the smallest things are the most dangerous. You see it all the time in this league. The ones who keep the peace, taking the pain. Number 4. Chris Rooney bloodied by high stick. Panthers vs. Maple Leafs, Game 7, May 19th, 2025, Stanley Cup Playoff Game 7. The kind of pressure that turns normal men into legends, or cautionary tales. Chris Rooney is a fixture in NHL circles. Respected, tough, and never afraid to make the big call. But nobody expects the moment when you become the story. The second period is winding down, tension so thick you could cut it with a skate. Suddenly, Panthers defenseman Nico Mikkola loses his stick while reaching for a bouncing puck. The blade flies up and catches Rooney right under the visor, hard. Blood sprays across his face and jersey. He drops to a knee, trainers sprinting out as players step back in shock. The broadcast zooms in. Rooney is bleeding, fast, but he's still upright, still focused. He tries to argue his way back onto the ice, because that's the code. You finish what you start, but the trainers aren't having it. They lead him off, and a few stitches later, he's still trying to return. That's the toughness nobody sees in the stat sheets. For a few minutes, the arena was dead silent, every player glancing nervously toward the tunnel. That's how you know it's serious. When even NHL tough guys stop chirping. Let's pause for a second. Would you keep skating after seeing blood on the ice? Or is that the moment you realize there's nowhere safe in this game, not even in stripes? Drop your answer in the comments, because the next ref story is proof that sometimes the worst pain is the one you don't even see. Number 3. Shandor Alphonso sidelined mid-game. Panthers vs. Maple Leafs, Game 2, May 2025. Sometimes you don't need a bone-crunching collision or a pool of blood to know a referee's hurt. Sometimes it's the sudden absence, a name missing from the second period lineup, a linesman gone without explanation. Game 2, Panthers and Maple Leafs, early May. Shandor Alphonso, one of the NHL's calmest and most respected linesmen, makes it through the first 2 periods, skating hard, breaking up scrums, moving play along. But when the third period starts, he's gone. No collision on replay, no dramatic stretcher scene, just a quiet, unexplained absence. After the game, rumors swirl. Some say it was a muscle injury, others mention dizziness or a possible concussion from a missed hit in the second period. Either way, the league replaces him on the fly, and the broadcast quietly notes the swap. It's the kind of moment that only the real fans notice. But for the guys in stripes, it's just as serious as any collision. Sometimes the game takes its toll in silence. Number 2. Bevan Mills knocked down by collision. Oilers vs. Stars, Western Conference Final, May 23rd, 2025. Western Conference Final, May 23rd. The stakes couldn't be higher. Every hit, every pass, every second counts. But in a split second, the war zone expanded. Bevan Mills, a relatively fresh face in the big playoff spotlight, is skating backwards, eyes on the puck. Suddenly, he's blindsided by 2 converging players, one Oiler, one Star battling along the boards. Mills spins and crumples to the ice, caught in the crossfire. It's not a malicious hit, just the kind of chaos that happens when you share the ice with 20 of the best skaters in the world. He's slow to get up, clearly rattled. But the whistle blows, the players take a knee, and for a few seconds, everyone's focus shifts from the cup to the safety of a man who isn't supposed to be part of the story. Mills would return to finish the game, but every replay showed it. In the playoffs, nobody's safe, not even the ones calling the shots. Number 1. Frederic Lécuyer forced into action. Wild vs. Golden Knights, April 21st, 2025. Some injuries don't end with blood or stretchers. They end with a backup referee pulling on a jersey mid-game. No warning, no prep. That was Frederic Lécuyer's night, and trust me, it's every ref's nightmare. Game 1, Wild vs. Golden Knights, early overtime. Brian Panchich, the linesman, has just been taken out by a brutal crash into the boards. Trainers are helping him off, off, and suddenly there's a scramble behind the scenes. The standby official, L'Écuyer, is told to suit up and get out there. No warm-up, no time to mentally prep, just a whistle, a new jersey, and the pressure of overtime playoff hockey. The players barely glance his way. The crowd doesn't cheer, but for L'Écuyer, it's a heart-pounding, sweat-soaked moment. One mistake, and the world will notice. That's the unseen drama, the unscripted tension that every NHL official carries with them every time they step on the ice. Would you go back out there after seeing your colleague stretchered off? Or does a hit like that change the way you see the job? For good. For every highlight you cheer, there's a ref dodging disaster just outside the frame. These guys don't get their names on the cup, but they sure as hell earn their battle scars. No one cheers when a ref goes down, but maybe they should, because this is the real price of keeping hockey honest. Which of these injuries shocked you most? Did we miss a wild ref moment from this season? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one. And if you want more untold NHL stories, hit subscribe, because next time we're going even deeper behind the chaos. You don't want to miss it.